Well, first up, an Aussie really animated things with this stage breakaway.
It was a really huge break in stage 16. We saw 31 riders in the break, including Philippe Gilbert. A lot of Frenchmen obviously keen to get a result as well. And two Australians, Adam Hansen of Team Lotto and Cam Meyer of Orica Green Edge. But it wasn't until about 19 kilometres to go, 8k before the summit of the final climb, when we saw Adam Hansen have a really big dig. And in fact, this totally blew apart the break in those final kilometres.
Big strong boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Big strong boy. Bridie, what's with the skin suit? I know you love them. What's going on?
They're starting to wear them more and more in these long road stages. They can't. I'm sure they're comfortable and they're built for them, but you know, I worry about food, nutrition, how much they're able to carry in their pockets.
I'm worried about the natural breaks. What happens there?
Look, we did see Hansen win a stage of the Giro d'Italia this year on his own, a climbing stage. But look, Rui Costa, the eventual winner, has put in the most significant and important attack. He bridged across after a Cofidis rider had attacked. He had a great day and he stayed confident and motivated enough to summit on his own and then solo into finish. What was impressive though was what was happening back in the yellow jersey race. We saw Port controlling the pace, but in fact Contador was great. He was really aggressive. This was the second attack he actually launched. And you can see he gets a nice little gap and Port's forced to chase, and in fact sometimes puts a bit of a gap in on his teammate and leader Froome.
It's the Contador of old, isn't it?
So there behind him is Valverde, Quintana and Contador's teammate Kreuziger. Behind them were Rodriguez and Mollema. Another attack from Contador was equally impressive, and in fact by that stage Port had sort of blown a little and we had Chris Froome bridging across on his own with Valverde and Quintana on the wheel.
Quintana, I wish he had it. He goes to go and he stops.
You're right, he's here on the right as though he's going to attack.
They have to counter-attack if they want to get rid of Froome, but I think that's the best we've seen Contador the entire 2.5 weeks.
He looked comfortable, didn't he, with those attacks?
Very good.
Not the way he had when we saw him on Ventoux.
And what's his thinking? Why would Quintana have stopped there? Just doubting himself? Or?
I guess so, and that's what I said earlier about the thumbs up. I agree. I believe they had an agreement. I'll attack, you counter-attack, I'll attack again. We have to do something to get rid of him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, what was terrific was, of course, the celebration by Rui Costa, and to win a stage solo and have time, it is a great result for Movistar, and it's his second Tour de France win, so, you know, he was pumped.
Is that your favourite winner's salute? I mean, we've seen some great ones over the years.
We have. Actually, I like Juan Antonio Fletcher, you know, lighting the arrow. That was quite impressive. He had time. Then I think we had Neil Stevens with a baby.
The baby.
It was sort of cheesy but nice.
Sastre kept a dummy on him, didn't he? And he had the dummy in the mouth.
Yeah.
Contador, El Pistolero.
Yeah, that looks stupid.
He stopped doing that, didn't he? He got a bit of bad feedback.
Only because he hasn't won a race for a year and a half.
Normally they bring out their 16 gold chains and start kissing the crucifixes and this and that.
That's true.
It's wonderful.
Now, after Rui Costa, we saw a group of 4 sprinting for second, but this is the yellow jersey finish with Rodriguez leading Froome in. Mollema still there, Quintana crossing the line, Valverde, Kreuziger, and Port, of course, had bridged back up. So that was the key group, and people who'd been dropped from that group included Evans, the other Belkin rider, Tendam, Schleck, and I think there was one other GC, well, sort of thereabouts.
Those guys there that are coming in right now, there's only Richie Port that's not in the top 7 in classification.
Yeah,
they're the best riders in the race.
Yeah, so it was interesting also because we'd seen that earlier footage of them when they'd come back together after the descent issue. They were rolling turns, but what was, you know, they were driving, they had Kreuziger driving the pace and Alberto would just stayed at the back, and we'd seen Froome trying to get him to roll a turn, and Alberto kind of kept gesturing to his hand that he'd crashed and he was sore and he didn't need to.
Of course he's not going to help Froome come back. Kreuziger's in front.
But it was also a really great result for Cam Meyer of Orica Green Edge after being in the break all day. He actually finished 10th on the stage, so they'd finished before this yellow jersey group had finished. Fantastic result for him.
Yeah, good points. Thanks for that, Bridie. Lovely analysis.